What is up, guys? Delboy here. So this weekend we have the unification fight between Ricky Burns and Julius Indongo. This fight is for the IBF Super Lightweight title and the WBA Super Lightweight title. This fight takes place in Scotland. Going into the fight, Ricky Burns, he's got a record of 41 wins, 5 defeats, 1 draw, 14 of those 41 wins coming by way of knockout. Julius Indongo comes into the fight with a perfect record of 21 wins, 0 defeats, 0 draws, 11 of those 21 wins coming by way of knockout. And this fight is really hard to call. Namely because there's no footage of Julius Indongo online apart from the first round knockout against Edward Trojanowski, which was his last fight, where he won the title. And that was an impressive sort of standout victory. It was a knockout of the year contender. It was an upset of the year contender because nobody knew who Indongo was, and Trojanowski was expected to sort of run through him. Before that fight, nobody really regarded Trojanowski as an elite level fighter, but some people thought he could do a few things. He was a big puncher and he was expected to win that fight. But Indongo went to Russia and knocked him out in the first round. And that's all you've really got to gauge him by. In that fight against Trojanowski, in the first round, he did come out, he looked quite calm. He looked nice and loose, nice and sort of fluid. He tried to dictate the range immediately from his jab, and he caught him with a straight left down the pipe, and he knocked out Trojanowski. He looked, in that fight, Indongo looked calm, he looked poised, he looked loose, and he looked like he was going to play the role of a counterpuncher. And that's from what I can see from a few clips I've seen of him, that's how he likes to fight. I mean, when you look at his physical advantages, he's 5'10.5" with a 71.5 inch reach. So he is going to have a physical advantages here. So, you'd expect Julius Indongo to come out and play the outboxer, flick that jab, and look for that left hand counter down the pipe, which, Ricky Burns, I'm sure is going to get hit with. We saw against Terence Crawford when he turned southpaw, Burns was getting hit with that straight left quite a lot. So, that shot I'm sure is going to be there for Julius Indongo. Ricky Burns isn't exactly the most elusive guy, so I'm sure that jab is going to be working if it's consistent, and I'm sure he can set things up off it. He looked pretty competent from what I saw of him, but again, I'm saying this, based on one round. So I'm not really confident in saying that Indongo is going to sort of outbox Ricky Burns for any sort of length of time. Maybe he might start well, but we've seen fighters against Ricky Burns like Jose Gonzalez who looked like he had all the skills in the world, but after like round 7 or 8, he gassed and he sort of quit on his stool. These sort of fighters are always hard to predict. Yep, they might have talent, but we've never seen them in deep water. We've never seen them in a hard fight. We've never seen them face adversity. So I've got no idea what Julius Indongo's mental makeup's like. I've got no idea what he's like in a crisis. I've got no idea what his chin's like. I've got no idea what his stamina's like. Even his punch power, he got a knockout of the year contender against Trojanowski. Doesn't mean he's a puncher. His record is 11 KOs in 21 fights, and he's not exactly fought great competition. So is he really a puncher? Maybe that was just a flash punch that caught him flush, and that's what it was. Maybe he's not this big puncher that people thought are saying he is, kind of thing. So Julius Indongo is a big mystery. He could be the best fighter in the division, or he could be bang average. We just don't know, and it's really hard to account for those things. On his resume, apart from Trojanowski, there's nobody really on there. He beat Kaiser Mabuza back in 2014, but Mabuza was well past it at that point. Indongo, hard to judge how good he actually is. Ricky Burns, we know about Ricky Burns. He's fought, win, lose or draw. He has fought pretty good competition. He's fought guys like Omar Figueroa, Dejan Zlatikanin, Terence Crawford, Raimundo Beltran, Kevin Mitchell, Michael Katsidis, Roman Martinez. Ricky Burns has fought pretty decent competition for the most part in his career. And yeah, we know what Ricky Burns is about. He's got a good chin. He's got a good engine. Um, he's just a tough, durable guy. His boxing skills are not the best, but you know what? He has proved back in the day that he can pop a jab, he can move, he can sort of counter against the likes of Michael Katsidis and Roman Martinez, Kevin Mitchell. But since the Kevin Mitchell fight, he's not really fought like that. He's not fought on the outside and tried to box. He's kind of sort of gone to war with people and tried to sort of outman them. So yeah, I mean, and Ricky Burns' last performance against Kirill Relik wasn't the best. I mean, a lot of people felt he lost that fight actually. So I'm saying that Julius Indongo, we don't know how good he is, which is true. But on the same merit, we don't know how much Ricky Burns has left. He's had a long, hard career. He's had 46 fights. No, 47 fights. Sorry, he's had 47 fights. So he's had a long, hard career with multiple world title fights. How much has Ricky Burns got left? I wouldn't say much. You know, to me he's been on the downslide for the last sort of 3 or 4 years. You know, since that Jose Gonzalez fight, he's been on the downslide. His last real good performance was Kevin Mitchell, and that was back in 2012. So, yeah, you've got to question how much Ricky Burns has left. And the fight itself is really hard to gauge, man, because like Ricky Burns' last opponent, Kirill Relik, he looked good on tape, but we never saw him against top-level competition. But he went in against Ricky Burns and proved he's a solid fighter. Maybe Indongo's going to be the same. How do I think this fight's going to go? Do you know what? I'm going to play it safe. I'm going to say Ricky Burns, just because I just don't know enough about Indongo. There's literally one round for me to base this prediction on Indongo, and I can't do it on one round. I think I'm just going to pick Ricky Burns. No reason why, just because I know more about him. I've seen multiple fights of his, and you know, there's so much I don't know about Julius Indongo. I mean, let's just talk about the fight. I think Indongo, he needs to come out, you know, out at range, pop that jab, look for that left-hand counter down the pipe, which I've seen be landed on Ricky Burns. You know, Terence Crawford did it when he turned southpaw. You know, he just needs to sort of come out with that jab and sort of box at range. And Ricky Burns has proven in his career that he struggles with that style. We saw that against Jose Gonzalez. We saw it against Terence Crawford, that he does sort of struggle with that style. When a guy is sort of rangy and elusive, he is going to struggle. So Julius Indongo, that's pretty simple to me. That's how he wins the fight. He needs to do it clearly, though, because it is in Scotland. He needs to win clearly. And, you know, he needs to make no mistake, and he needs to sort of make it a dominant victory to get the decision. Ricky Burns needs to rough him up to me. He needs to sort of get up close, work on the inside, work that body, elbows, you know, heads, shoulders. He needs to make it rough, because we don't know what Indongo's like in a hard sort of fight. We don't know how he's going to react. You know, sometimes with African fighters, they're either really fucking tough, or they sort of fade early and they sort of wilt under a bit of pressure. We don't know what Indongo's like. So to me, Ricky Burns needs to come out. He needs to work that body, get up close, and try to outwork Indongo and make it a hard, high-paced fight. That's how I think Ricky Burns wins this fight. But I'm just picking Ricky Burns based on, you know, he's fought better competition. We know more about him, and we know nothing about Indongo. So that's my prediction. It's not a confident one though. What do you guys think? Peace.